Kelly Krauskopf, if you can't handle the heat, get out of the kitchen. If you were perfectly fine when Fever fans were bending over, kissing your ass, applauding your decisions, you better stand here and take it when Fever fans are pissed off, upset, and are voicing their displeasures. If our voice mattered that much then, you best believe it matters that much.
The entire basketball world is buzzing about the recent comments made by the president of the Indiana Fever regarding Caitlin Clark. What can't be ignored is how attempts to downplay the importance of motivation can fundamentally affect franchise players and the culture around them. The reaction was immediate and fierce, proving just how closely fans and players alike are watching. In moments like this, karma has a way of reminding everyone who the real leader is. The fallout from this misstep now looks almost absurd, raising a bigger question. What do organizations really expect to happen when they try to diminish the value of their biggest stars?
And is going to get as big and go as far as Caitlin Clark takes it. And I don't think Kelly Krauskopf understands that. And the latest video that is surfacing, floating around, being consumed by Fever fans across the globe, because this is an international superstar they have on their hands. This may have been the straw that broke the...
From the reactions of both players and staff, it seemed clear that some people within the Indiana Fever organization saw this coming. And it wasn't just about Caitlin Clark. Recording and circulating a conversation about their so-called brand-building plans was certainly a choice. After all, nothing signals a sound business strategy quite like publicly diminishing the very person who single-handedly kept your franchise from slipping into complete irrelevance. That's the irony, isn't it? Fever leadership, being generous by even calling it that, spoke about their goal of creating a long-term, sustainable brand. They framed it in corporate language, almost comparing their vision to companies like Apple. In this narrative, Caitlin Clark's role is oddly positioned as a reminder that they supposedly don't want to rely too heavily on core players because it's about the group. In reality, this kind of corporate talk often misses a fundamental truth of sports. Star players aren't a liability to manage. They're the foundation everything else is built on.
That we want to sustain the growth and the interest level in the franchise. I mean, this is about the Indiana Fever. Yes, we have a foundational player in Caitlin Clark and Leah Boston, and we're going to continue to add to that. But I want this team to be the leader in the country, and a brand, an enduring brand, like Apple or something.
Let me explain just how tone-deaf those comments really were. This executive essentially went on social media and told fans that the franchise wanted to preserve its growth and momentum, while at the same time implying that Caitlin Clark, the very reason for that growth and renewed interest, should not be the central focus. It's like McDonald's saying they want to be known for more than hamburgers while deliberately trying to hide the Big Mac. Fans, understandably, reacted immediately because comments like that insult their intelligence. Social media erupted, calling out the organization for being completely disconnected from reality. Honestly, the backlash was deserved. This success didn't happen by accident, and trying to downplay the person who made it possible was bound to backfire.
This isn't the NFL. This is the WNBA. A star is going to take the Fever where the Fever want to go. And that star is Caitlin Clark. Kelly, you're talking about being a leading brand. You're talking about sustaining growth, sustaining the interest level in the franchise. You know how that happens? Is if Caitlin Clark stays in Indiana, is if Caitlin Clark is participating in an entertaining and exciting brand of basketball that doesn't take away and diminish her skill sets, that doesn't turn off fans that have been following her for the last 3 to 5.
Many within the organization seemed to overlook a simple reality. Before Caitlin Clark arrived, Indiana Fever games drew roughly 4,000 fans on good nights, with weak television ratings and little national relevance. The future of the franchise felt uncertain and easy to ignore. Then Clark arrived and everything changed. Arenas began selling out, attendance numbers became nationally relevant, and the Fever suddenly mattered in league-wide conversations. Yet leadership appeared to credit this transformation to organizational brilliance rather than recognizing the rare talent placed directly in their hands. What truly sparked interest wasn't structure or messaging. It was watching a generational player do something special on the court. That's why comparisons to Apple fall flat. Apple didn't become a global giant by downplaying the iPhone or pretending the iPad didn't matter. They embraced their breakthrough products and built everything around them. Sports history follows the same logic. When you have Michael Jordan, you don't try to dilute his influence. You optimize everything around his greatness. When the Lakers had Magic Johnson, Showtime didn't happen by accident. Dynasties are built when organizations recognize unique players and shape their entire identity around showcasing that talent. The Fever seem to be missing that memo. What makes the comments even more baffling is their timing. Fans have just watched Clark struggle within systems that underutilize her skills, offenses that reduce her impact, teammates missing her on open looks, and schemes that didn't maximize what she does best. Frustration was already high. Then leadership stepped in with remarks that appeared to confirm fans' worst fears about priorities. It was like trying to extinguish a fire with gasoline. The backlash was swift and severe, and supporters began openly questioning the organization's direction and values. Inevitably, that led to uncomfortable conversations about Clark's future. When trust erodes, people start asking whether her talents might be better valued elsewhere once contracts allow it. That is the exact opposite of what you want when claiming to build a long-term brand. And it's not an unreasonable fear. Clark is too talented and too competitive to waste her prime years in an environment that doesn't fully commit to winning and maximizing its best asset. Market context makes this even more striking. If similar organizational missteps happen in Boston or New York, sports radio and media pressure would be relentless. Calls for accountability would dominate the conversation daily. But operating in Indianapolis seems to have created a false sense of insulation, a belief that this kind of backward thinking can slide under the radar. Ironically, in trying not to rely too much on Clark, the Fever are increasing the risk of losing her altogether, because undervaluing an asset invites others to recognize and pursue it. The real irony is that instead of projecting stability and balance, these comments triggered the very controversy leadership likely hoped to avoid. Rather than sounding strategic, they came off as disconnected from their own reality. Fans today are informed, engaged, and deeply invested. They understand the numbers, the history, and the players who move the game forward. When something feels wrong, they speak up, not out of blind anger, but out of loyalty and belief in what their team could be. At its core, this moment is bigger than one comment or one executive. It's about a franchise at a crossroads, a fan base demanding clarity, and a generational superstar whose presence has reshaped an entire environment. History shows that great organizations don't fight momentum. They build on it. They don't dim their stars. They amplify them. What the Fever choose to do next will define not just headlines, but trust, culture, and legacy. And make no mistake, the basketball world is watching closely.